The way business owners use YouTube is about to change forever because we're entering a brand new era, but most people still have no idea how to prepare. And this new era can either leave you spending the next year trying to catch up, or it could put you miles ahead of the competition. Now, the reason I say this is because I spend a little bit too much time on YouTube, and I'm already seeing the biggest business owners switch up entirely just to hop on this new trend. So if you aren't doing everything you can to adapt, then you will get left behind. That's why in this video, I'm gonna go over what I think this big shift is and what I'm doing to prepare for it. And for you to truly understand what's happening, we kind of have to go a few years back to see how we even got here in the first place. See, think back in 2019, 2020, where you had guys like Iman Ghazi, Ali Abdaal, and Jordan Walsh completely crushing in the business space. Now, I'm not saying they're not crushing now, but the way they're doing it was completely different back then. See, it was all about gaining attention and then monetizing that attention with some sort of low ticket offer. Back then, we were seeing stuff like digital products, low ticket communities, even ebooks. And honestly, it worked really well. But the thing is, everyone saw how well this was working and decided to hop on the trend. Now, the problem was that the people who were actually hopping on the trend weren't all necessarily credible sources. And with all these new beginner business creators just going in and trying to get as many views as possible, the real business owners pretty much got silenced by the algorithm. And it created massive trust issues because you have these guys with hundreds of thousands of subscribers who don't actually know what they're doing. Whether they're selling courses or selling coaching on stuff that they've never done, when people are getting into those funnels, pretty much absorbing the information that they receive and not actually getting any results in return, it creates this imbalance of trust. They start to associate high subscribers with that same type of person. So now I'm seeing this trend slowly fizzle out and see something completely different happening. Because YouTube's algorithm over the past year quietly made one of its biggest shifts, and it's changing the way business owners create content. And that shift is the focus of small channels. Now, I don't know about you, but I see small channels on my browse feed every single day. We're talking guys with under 100 subscribers, under 500 subscribers, with only like 20 views on the video. Because now the algorithm cares more about viewer satisfaction than how many subscribers you have. This means if you post a video, they're gonna do whatever they can to push it to somebody who's actually gonna enjoy it. So you don't need to have thousands of subscribers to make money from the platform, because if you post content that your ideal client would wanna watch, the algorithm is gonna find a way to put it in front of that person. But the thing is, most people still haven't realized this yet. They're still optimizing for views or trying to build out these low ticket funnels and digital products, and that's exactly why they're gonna get left behind. But here's the thing, there's gonna be a right way to take advantage of the shift, and there's gonna be a wrong way. Now, the wrong way is going so niche down that you literally have zero audience. Think like, targeting $3 million per year healthcare brands that are in the UK, or just something absolutely insane and only speaking to that audience. Not saying that that's bad or that you need to change your ICP, but when you're creating content, that's not the approach we wanna take. In my eyes, the right way is to use outlier frameworks to maximize the amount of people you can reach within your ICP. And by ICP, I pretty much just mean the people you want to attract. Now, what that will actually end up looking like is using frameworks or ideas that have worked for other creators and, went big on their channels, and then adapting them to your specific niche. And using the example I had before, instead of maybe having your title about $3 million per year healthcare brands in the UK, you just want to talk to e-commerce brands, and then your messaging within the video is going to filter them out unintentionally. But like I said, I'm going to show you exactly how I'm planning to take advantage of the shift in 2025. And the first step is understanding what your ideal client is actually even searching for in the first place. Because most business owners create content that they think is important, not what their customers actually searching for. That means the people who are actually ready to buy never even see your videos. Now, one of the best ways to find what your clients are actually struggling with is going to be digging into your own sales calls, taking notes of what they're saying over email, over DM, and pretty much any actual feedback that you're getting from them. But the next best thing is going to be something like ChatGPT. So what I'm going to do is just go through ChatGPT, give a quick prompt, and show you exactly how you can find exactly what your clients are dealing with. So I pretty much just spoke this prompt into ChatGPT, where I pretty much told it everything about my target audience, what they're usually charging, what their funnel usually looks like, how many team members they have, what they're currently doing to sign clients. And I pretty much just told it to find me 15 to 20 of their most common pain points and to really think deeply about it. So we'll see what it gives me. All right, so it gave me out this stuff, which is pretty solid. It's a little bit basic in the explanation. I think it's solid. I just gave it another small little prompt to see what I could actually help with. Yeah, I really like this lower CAC with an asset that never burns out. That's super strong and kind of a high level thing that most founders probably don't even think of. Remove single channel risk. This is really solid. Show what drives deals. I don't love that. It doesn't make too much sense. I think this is really solid. And now that gives you a bunch of different problems to run through, and you really just want to go through and kind of find 5 separate pillars of problems that you can constantly just dip into and create content solving. Now, you know how to make content that solves problems that your ideal prospects are actually searching for, but you can't just go onto YouTube and pretty much just upload random videos. Like, you actually have to create like a structure and a framework to follow where you're not going to be able to compete with anybody else in your industry. Because even though your advice might be better than someone else's, there's still a lot that goes into stuff like your titles and thumbnails that your advice just isn't going to be able to save. And the thing is, the best business owners on YouTube already have cracked the code. They know which thumbnails stop the scroll, which titles get the clicks, and what video structure keeps the viewer watching. But here's the good news. You could see exactly what they're doing and start to pick up on it. And what I personally do is I follow a list of a bunch of different creators, see what they're doing, see what videos are performing well, and how I can put a twist on the videos that they're doing that are already working. So you look at these creators right here. I don't know how big this list is, to be honest, but I'll open up a few of them. Andy is a pretty solid one. We could see he has a couple outliers. The new drop shipping model that's actually working. I like that. I tried drop shipping for a week. I think that's really strong. It's boring, but it's how dropshippers actually get rich. So like off this scenario already, like we have a couple things we could dig into. So using my pain points from the last example, I probably could even just hop right on a ChatGPT and tell it to remake these exact structures. Yeah, literally, I just hopped right on a ChatGPT. I said, okay, pick a random problem to solve and replicate this title for a YouTube video, but only replace the context. Keep the psychology of the title intact so it's very similar. And this was, it's boring, but it's how dropshippers actually get rich. And then in our case, it's going to be, it's boring, but it's how agencies actually book clients. And in my case, I mean, I would probably twist it a little bit where it's like, it's boring, but it's how businesses actually book calls from YouTube. And it pretty much just goes through and gives a bunch of different solutions. But I think that this one is really solid and something that I personally would actually run with. And you can go ahead and we could do this live with these other creators, but essentially the process is exactly the same. I go through, I have an extension from vidIQ and I'm looking at what's performing well right now. How can I turn it into something that I can do and adapt to my own niche? And then how can I make it even better? Do I need a better title? Do I need a better thumbnail? Do I need a better script and structure to the video? And then once you have all that together, like you're pretty much good to go to make the first video. But the thing is, once you have a way to reach the right people, you still need a way to get those people on the calendar. And the part that actually turns these viewers into booked calls is going to be your call to action strategy. And the good news is with this new shift, you don't need hundreds of thousands of views to put calls on the calendar. You only need a couple hundred highly qualified prospects to watch your videos. But the problem is most business owners either skip the CTA because it feels too salesy, or they throw them in without any strategy. And that leaves them with no calls on the calendar. So what the best business owners on YouTube are doing is they're using a mid-roll call to action. And all this means is placing something about 30% or even halfway through the video to drive traffic to, whether that's the first link in the description, it's some sort of high ticket funnel, or maybe even to get them over on Instagram to send them a DM. Whatever it is, it does not matter how your funnel on the back end looks. What matters is what you're saying in that call to action and where you're placing it. Because if you place it too early, nobody's going to feel like you gave them enough value for them to actually take the next step. And if you put it too late, then people are just going to leave and never see it in the first place. So you see these guys like Jordan Welsh, Iman Ghazi, and Charlie Morgan place their CTAs about halfway through the video. But when they're placing those mid-roll call to actions, they're not just cutting to a commercial break. They're strategically placing them within the video in a way that feels supernatural. And the way they do this is by creating a problem and then pitching this call to action as the solution. Someone who's a good example, or my favorite example, is going to be Alex Ramosi. If you've ever watched any of his videos where he talks about his roadmap lead magnet, he will say something like, at this stage, this is usually where businesses hit XYZ problem. And across all of our portfolios of companies, blah, 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 there's usually 6 different stages. Now, if you want to see exactly what stage you're in, I want you to hit the link in the description, get it completely for free. You don't need to give me like your email or something like that. I don't know his call to action strategy off the top of my head, but what you see there is that he's creating that problem by saying, if you're in this stage, then you kind of are going to hit XYZ problem. And if I knew exactly what stage I was in, I would immediately have a fix to my problem. And that's where he pitches the thing that solves that gap. So you have on one side, you don't know what stage of the business in, so you can't technically fix the problem. And then on the other half, with his new lead magnet or roadmap, whatever you want to call it, you know exactly where you are and exactly how to solve that issue. And essentially brings it together really well without feeling like salesy or cutting to a commercial. Now that's personally how we're helping business owners take advantage of this shift. But if you want to see a more in-depth breakdown on what the biggest creators are doing to take advantage of this shift, watch this video and I'll see you over there.